Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our November business briefing. I'm Jennifer Harmoning, President of the Burnsville Chamber of Commerce. I want to thank you for joining us today for a topic that's always relevant to the business community: our transportation, transit, travel, and construction. These updates help all of us plan ahead for projects that impact our commutes, our employees, our customers, and they're also a great reminder about how much regional collaboration it takes to keep Burnsville and the South Metro moving. We will be recording this presentation for future view and encourage you to log in and see other topics of other business briefings. So with that, sorry, my advance isn't working. There we go. So our agenda this morning, we'll have a brief chamber update, and then we'll go into our feature presentation with all 5 organizations presenting this morning. And with that, our chamber update is we've had a lot going on, an incredibly busy fall of connection and community, from coffee breaks and ribbon cuttings to our upcoming holiday event. So here's what's up next. We have our Yellow Brick Road Early Childhood AM Coffee Break on November 12th. We have our Steak and Ale Out to Lunch on November 18th, and our next business briefing on December 5th. Of course, our big thing that we're getting ready for, and we hope you'll mark your calendar, is our Mingle and Jingle Holiday Social with Bingo at Buck Hill. You can enjoy live music, appetizers, and a silent auction and prize bingo, plus opportunities to sponsor an event and show off your business. So there's a QR code on the screen if you'd like more information about that, or you can sign up today. So those are all my announcements for the chamber this morning. With that, I'm pleased to introduce, as I said, we have 5 organizations. We're going to hear from the Minnesota Department of Transportation. We're going to hear from Dakota County, the City of Burnsville, MVTA, and the Metropolitan Airports Commission. So with that, we're going to start off, and I'm going to introduce Bryant from the Minnesota Department of Transportation. Bryant, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to come to talk and appreciate everyone who's attending and listening. And let's go ahead and dive right in to our next slide there. So, big one we wanted to hit is the construction on I-35W. So, I'm sure everyone is aware of the activity out there. And just the purpose of the project really is to provide for that safe and smooth pavement for a long duration. We don't expect to be out in this area on 35W for a long time. We want to make sure the bridges are safe, there's functioning drainage, good lighting, all the stuff that goes into it. We're trying to pack a lot into this project. So again, we can get this done and not be out here for a long time. I'm going to go to the next slide. So the work this year really focused on the southbound direction and the associated ramps with that, with some work on the other sides as well, but mainly focused on that southbound. Uh, and happy to report as we sit here on the 7th, we're getting to the end of that. Things are starting to open up. So first couple bullets there and pictured is that southbound 35W exit to County Road 42 is now open. Buck Hill Road's open. You got the new roundabout there. So uh, really looking forward to seeing how that works in traffic and hoping to smooth out some of the operations, not only on 35W, but really for the county road there. Then the next few bullets, again, we're getting towards the end of the construction season. So later today, probably not till the evening, Highway 13 should go back to the 4 lanes, so 2 lanes in each direction. So that'll open up again. A week from now, Burnsville Parkway will finally reopen. You'll have that east-west connection back open and again, traffic somewhat returning to normal. So there's still some work on the ramps. You'll still see some activity there, but we're really trying to get everything wrapped up by the 14th or the 15th. The one aspect that does remain closed is Cliff Road under 35W. That one we need to keep closed as we're still doing some work in the bridge area there, and we can't have anybody traveling underneath where we're working. So that's the one spot that remains closed, but everything else should be opening up. Next slide. So as we look forward to 2026, the traffic impacts will be focused on then the northbound side as we work on the other side of the road. And so you will see some of the same impacts that we saw this year. Highway 13 will go back to one lane in each direction. I mentioned Cliff Road will stay closed, and then some of the entrance and exits ramps will close as we work on those as well. Uh, Not noted on here, but as I said, Burnsville Parkway will be open. Once that's opened, it will not be closed, so there will be that extra route across that you didn't have this year. So really happy to get that done and be able to say that'll be open and that'll be a good route for people. We are looking to start in April, depending on weather, depending on how that looks, and then looking for that completion in October. So it'll be another full construction season with these impacts, but it will be better than it was this year, just simply because Burnsville Parkway will be open. Next slide. Moving on to the next one, 494. Again, this is a little outside your area, but there was interest in this. Obviously a major route. Want to make sure you're aware of what's going on there. This picture just shows the overview of what we're trying to do out there. And the big change is adding those easy pass lanes and adding capacity to it, trying to help traffic as they move through the corridor there. We can go to the next slide. So what's happening now is what we call Project One, and this is adding easy pass between 35W and East Bush Lake Road, and then lots of other things going along with it. It's noted in the bullets there. A lot of that work is being completed. Same same thing as the 35W work. We're starting to reopen some of these things, starting to end the construction season. And you'll see some of the improvements out there, and you'll start to see that return to normal. As we look forward to 2026, the work will be mainly on the local systems, some of the bridges there, might be some work on the exit and entrance ramps again, and then really looking to implement the Easy Pass system in that section that we've got completed. So there may be lane closures, you'll see some testing of the system, some activity in that regard, but it should be a lot more open than it was this year. And again, a lot of those improvements in place, uh, which should be a benefit to everyone traveling along there. Next slide. So then we look forward to project two that we have. And just as we're working now between 35W and East Bush Lake Road, this one is going to shift to the east. We'll be looking to 35W to 77. So that orange area to the east of 35W. And this is very similar to what we had on the west side. We're going to be looking to expand, add capacity in the form of those easy pass lanes, reconstruct different ramps and bridges, and really update the pedestrian infrastructure. We're in design right now, looking at that, so that's not going to begin till 27. So we have a little bit of time. If I'm back next year, I'll be able to tell you more at that time what those traffic impacts might be. Next slide. Okay, Highway 77, another one coming up. Very similar purpose to the other ones, looking to rehabilitate the pavement, improve the drainage, and then improve the bike and ped infrastructure. This one is looking to start next year, but we're well aware that there's ongoing work on 35W. We do not want to close down both north-south routes at the same time. So what we're doing out here should be pretty limited. There is work around the 7735E interchange, looking at those entrance and entrance ramps and loops, redoing that pavement. And then there's work at the north end, closer to the bridges that we'll be doing. and then some lane closures and stuff as we strengthen the shoulders and get ready for some crossovers. Really, the focus of that work next year is mainly looking ahead to 27. We tried to minimize as much as we could the 26 work, knowing that we're still wrapping up 35W. And so in 27, that's when you'll see more of the mainline work and crossovers, some head-to-head traffic, that sort of thing. So uh, again, most of the activity will happen in 27. Next slide. So then moving to Highway 13, that's the next big corridor coming in. What I'm showing on the screen here is just the full corridor that was studied from Highway 169 over to Nicollet Avenue. So we did a large study on that, an environmental assessment, looking at that whole corridor and just as it says in the bullets, looking at how we improve safety, how we reduce congestion, and how can we just make it a better corridor. Some of the activity has already occurred on this. There's been work at several of those interchanges. The most recent one was Dakota Avenue. So we're kind of systematically going through and hitting everything on this plan and making the whole corridor better. So the next focus will be on the Nicollet Avenue side and then the Quinton to Washburn area. So kind of two segments left from this map that we need to get to. Next slide. And so what you're seeing here is the current layout for the Highway 13 Nicollet Avenue, what is currently an intersection and will be changing to an interchange. So we've come up with a concept here that removes that signal. It will bring Highway 13 over Nicollet. We'll have that pedestrian infrastructure on Nicollet Avenue to make it easier for people to go back and forth between the transit centers, much safer crossing there. And then for those travelers on Highway 13, no more signal there. They can get through, use the on and off ramps, and through traffic will move very well. Uh, so definitely big improvement over what is currently out there and looking forward to getting this one going. This one, again, really looking towards that 27 time period for construction, still determining what those traffic impacts will be. So there'll be more opportunity to hear about how we're going to construct this and what those impacts are. But this will be the end result for this current intersection moving to that interchange. Next slide. So this one gets a little small on your screen, but trying to grab that big area from Quinton to Washburn and just showing again the improvements that we're planning on making out here, removing all the signals. So as you come through here, if you're on Highway 13, it will be that free-flowing operation with various entrance and exit ramps to get to either places in Burnsville or Savage as you move through, depending on your destination. Uh, this one, most of the activity that will likely occur in 2028. Again, this is another one we're working on the design. We're still finalizing everything, so much more time to get out there and let people know what the impacts will be on this one. It will likely be similar to other construction in this area where we did some sort of shoot lanes or one lane in each direction, but those decisions have yet to be made. And again, we'll be sure to get that information out to everyone as soon as we can as we continue to work through the process. If you go to the next, yep, I think that is it. So again, Bryant Ficek with MnDOT. My contact information is there. If there are questions, try to hit some at the end of this, but happy to reply to people, talk if they want. Feel free to reach out and I'll give you as much information as I can. So thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Bryant. It's always great to get the inside scoop from MnDOT, especially with how much of it's running through Burnsville right now. So
Yes, it is.
we appreciate that. And I'm sure we'll have questions for you since our chamber office is right around that 13 Nicollet interchange. So
Yep.
we'll have some future questions about that. With that, next, we'll get to hear from Jake from Dakota County, who will share a look at upcoming county road projects and timelines. Jake, you want to take it away?
Yeah, good morning. Thank you for having me today to share a little bit on what Dakota County has upcoming for transportation work. If you want to go to the next slide. So this just gives a quick overview of the work that we have programmed over the next 5 years within the city of Burnsville. Some roundabout intersection conversions, signal replacements, some corridor improvements, and then I'll get into some preservation activity towards the end of the presentation. So, next slide, Jennifer. So the first project cover here is along County Road 42. We have a trail gap, or really it's a trail conversion. We're converting the sidewalk along County Road 42 from County Road 5 east to Nicollet, kind of in that Burnsville Mall area. It'll get converted to a 10-foot shared use trail. We did some preliminary engineering on this in 24, and our project management group has this one off the ground. We just started final design recently, looking to move this into construction in 27. Good news is we did get some active transportation funding on this, so just a all-around good project that we'll be looking to bring to the area. Next slide, please. Next one here is County Road 32 at the I-35W frontage road. So this is kind of near the Burnsville Dodge, Walmart, Northern Tool, you can see there. And, Bryant mentioned this is right adjacent to the I-35 work they're doing, the bridge replacement. So this project will tie in to the work that MnDOT completes, and we'll pick up from there. This also is the same view on the west side of I-35, just off screen. If those remember, we did roundabout there a couple of years ago. So looking to improve the intersection that has some above average safety issues by replacing it with a single lane roundabout. Certainly we have a few challenges just with coordination with the railroad, high voltage, making sure we maintain business access, but also we're being very cautious of the Trunk Highway 13 and Nicollet project, as that's planned to start in late 26 and 7. We want to make sure we don't start this project, actual construction until we know we won't add to the disruption to the area. So closely coordinating with MnDOT and Burnsville to make sure this is put in with the least amount of disruption as we can. Next slide. So we have County Road 38 or McAndrews Road. For those that are kind of in this area, we've had preliminary engineering going for about a year, had a bunch of public engagement, focused around what improvements need to happen along this corridor from CASA 5 to Aldrich, which, just to orient, you can see, Cub Foods in the bottom left corner. That's the new Cub Food location, just off 42 there. So really the project was born out of some safety issues that we were seeing predominantly at Irving Ave and 141st Street with some above average crash issues. We have some congestion issues out here we're looking to fix. So the preliminary engineering phase conclusions you can see on the screen here. I can kind of detail those a little bit going left to right. At County Road 5, we're looking to add an additional southbound left turn lane, so there'll be dual lefts there, as well as we're going to do some additional signal timing and kind of programming modifications to help with the congestion. And then as you head east at Irving, we're going to convert that intersection to a roundabout to help with some of the safety and congestion management issues. And then at 141st Street, you can see it's labeled managed access. So we're going to do some access restriction. And what that means at 141st and 140th is those side streets. So if you're on 141st Street going up to McAndrews, you no longer be able to take a left turn to go west. You'll have to either go right and U-turn, or there'll be alternative routing through some of the local streets to kind of get to other locations. And that's just, again, to help with some of that congestion and safety issues we're seeing. Burnhaven, we'll be converting that to a signalized intersection. And then along the corridor, we'll be upgrading sidewalk to trail on the south side, as well as doing, ADA improvements, pedestrian crossing improvements, trying to really bring this corridor up to, present day standards for all multi-traffic. So we've got final design scheduled to start late this year or really into 26, and then start working through the process towards construction in 2028. Next slide, please. So these next few will all look very similar, as we have 3 signal replacements programmed. The first one being at County Road 32 or Cliff Road at 12th Ave South. So this is, as you can see, the businesses that are surrounding it, but it's just west of the Trunk Highway 13 and Cliff intersection. Generally, we try to get about 30 years of service life out of our signals. You can see this one's 35 years old, so we've had good fortune with it. When we do signal replacements, we also look at the intersections, determine if there's maybe some additional geometry improvements we need to look at, turn lanes, just general modifications, but also we always upgrade the ADA, the curb ramps, kind of bring those up to modern standards as well. So this one will be starting in 27 with ultimate construction in 29. Next slide, please. Also in 29, this is County Road 11 and County Road 38 or McAndrews intersection. You can see the coloration on the right-hand side shows, the Burnsville Apple Valley border there. So just on the border of Burnsville. Similarly, this one's about 33 years old, so it's due for replacement. We'll be looking at geometry improvements, ADA upgrades, and ultimately construction in 29. Next slide, please. And then in 2030, we have the signal replacement at Burnhaven and County Road 42. So you can see in the bottom right, that's the Burnsville Mall area, just to orient. Looking to make any geometry improvements we need to out here, similar to the other cases, similar age, but we'll be looking at 2030 construction. So we'll start assessing this in 28 with some preliminary engineering and move it forward. Next slide. So then Dakota County, every year we set aside a certain amount of money for what we call preservation activity. So this is your mill and overlays, reclamations, other treatments that are lower cost items that really help prolong the life of our pavement and our road systems. Also, this is just a very short duration. So the impact to the communities, to the businesses is pretty small or pretty short in overall duration, but we were able to improve that ride quality of the road. So somewhat of a big improvement. The right-hand side of the screen, there's some color coding there in 26, which is kind of that mint color. We got 2 projects programmed. First being on the upper screen at County Road 32. So the western limit of it will essentially be the eastern limit of that 2028 roundabout, but we'll look to improve the pavement from there, heading east up towards Trunk Highway 13, also through that new signal that we're looking at in 29 at 12th there. And then also on County Road 42 at the bottom of the screen from County Road 11 east to Redwood Drive, that'll be in 26. And then in 27, the yellow, you can see we're looking at County Road 5 from 42 up to 13. And then also County Road 38 from Aldrich, which is kind of the eastern limits of that McAndrews corridor improvement project I spoke on. And that'll go east towards County Road 11. With this work, we also do the ADA improvements. So we bring all the ped ramps at the intersections, those quadrants up to current standards. So generally you'll see kind of that concrete work, the curb lines, the ramps, we'll come in and do a lot of that work first, and then we'll come through and clean it up with a pretty short duration, preservation, mill and overlay type activities. So next slide. So yeah, with that, I guess that kind of concludes. Of course, every one of our projects, we have a public webpage on our county website. So there's more information that can be shared or gathered there, but also feel free to contact me directly. It's my email address. Happy to answer any questions, either today or really at any point moving forward. So thanks for the time today.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Jake. We appreciate the county's continued collaboration and all you do for our roads, but also how you keep us informed and that you're there when we have questions. So with that, we're going to turn it over to Logan with the city of Burnsville for a local perspective on 2026 street improvements and project planning. Logan?
Yes, thank you for having me. So first slide here, we're going to take a look at our city-led street improvement projects for next year. So the two kind of roadway segments I want to highlight are going to be Aldrich and Buck Hill Road. So Buck Hill Road, we're going to be resurfacing basically that last bit of pavement that isn't new and nice. So from the roundabout project that just got completed with the 35W work down to South Cross, which is where kind of the previous Buck Hill Road resurfacing project left off. So that'll be a fairly quick and painless project, really just milling off a layer of the existing pavement and paving back some new asphalt. And then same treatment on Aldrich Avenue. So there's a pretty high density commercial area on the north segment of Aldrich Avenue there. And a big focus of our pavement management plan is to whenever we have these larger volume streets, especially by businesses, we like to not let those go to the point of needing full reconstruction and try to get in there sooner and just do the rehabilitation to reduce the impact to the businesses and to the traveling public. So those are the two big ones that will be affecting some commercial properties here in Burnsville. We also have some residential reconstruction projects. So we're doing a little loop there around Crystal Lake. And then our big reconstruction project for next year is in the residential area called River Hills Drive and Raleigh. So that is a full water main replacement project. So that's going to be a big one for us, but luckily not impacting too many businesses over there. Next slide. Yeah, now we're just gonna share a little success of some of our 2025 projects. So Williams Drive is effectively done. I say effectively because in the next slide here, I'll show you the traffic signal at Judicial Road is not installed yet. So there were some delays with the physical equipment needed for the traffic signal. So that's getting installed in about a month. And then the street will be functioning as intended. Right now, Judicial is just a minor street stop control is what we call it. So it's operating the same as it did prior to the project, but in about a month, that new signal will be up and running. Next slide. And then, yeah, we just wanted to share a nice picture of the 35W and Buck Hill off-ramp project. So that was early September. It is now completely done. It's been open for a little over a week now, I believe. So yeah, we're pretty excited about that project. It was a huge partnership project with Dakota County and MnDOT, and it's great to see it finally done. We've been talking about it for years, so just wanted to highlight that. And lastly, our Waze partnership. So we've been doing this for a couple of years. Yeah, you can go to the next slide. We've been working with Waze as a partner for a couple of years now, and really, we at the city staff level, we take a lot of pride in keeping Waze updated and accurate so that users aren't directed into a closed road situation, so that they can navigate Burnsville as effectively as possible. Waze does feed information directly to Google Maps. So Google Maps also is very accurate thanks to the work we're doing with Waze. And then eventually Apple Maps picks it up as well. Sometimes it's pretty quick, sometimes it takes a little bit, but really we try to promote the usage of Waze and other navigation apps on our social media when we have road closures in the city. And we would encourage business owners to do the same and really leverage that resource for your customers that might be impacted by road closures. I believe that's all I have. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Logan. Great updates. There's so much going on. It's hard to keep track of, so we appreciate keeping us in the loop on the 2026 street improvements, the things that are done. And I do want to echo what you said about ways. I know, thanks to Mark Ray, that he's met with some of our businesses, and getting your Waze profiles updated with his help is really helpful to get your customers and your employees to your space, and then using it as an app to get around, to get the real-time updates when things are changing quickly. So with that, I want to thank, next up, we have Ryan Anderson from the Metropolitan Airports Commission to share what's new at MSP. So Ryan, are you ready to take it away here?
Oh, Jennifer, I think you have our slides.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, my
I
my
don't want to skip,
script.
but I am
Sorry,
here.
Ryan. My
That's okay.
script did not align with the slide order. So we're gonna dive in with Joya and Eric from MVTA to talk to us about what's happening with Minnesota Valley Transit Authority and give us some updates. Joya and Eric, would you like to take it away?
Sure. Thanks, Jennifer. And thank you for having us at this event too. I think it's so important to MBTA and all of our departments that, we are communicating with the business community and providing some resources for your workforce, your visitors, and everyone in our communities. So hopefully you guys will find some interesting tidbits here. I'm Joya. I'm the Community and Economic Development Director at Minnesota Valley Transit Authority. So my job is kind of centered around partnership development and really soliciting feedback from our community members so that we can better understand and implement more optimized transit in our communities. So Eric, I'll pass it to you.
I'm Eric Callison. I'm the transit planning manager at MVTA, and Joya comes to me and says, "The people want this." And it's my job to work with my team to turn that into a reality.
Not a hard job at all, right, Eric?
It's a fun job, interesting puzzle sometimes. Let's go ahead to the next slide. Just to give a brief overview, this is us. We have 24 bus routes that serve the South Metro with connections to Minneapolis and St. Paul, as well as the airport, VA, Mall of America, several other destinations outside the area. We have 14 park and rides at transit stations. We do have 2 bus garages. We run about 170 buses on your average weekday. Go ahead to the next slide. That's our base service, but then we also have, excuse me, in Burnsville itself, we have 4 express routes as well as 5 local routes. We also have MVTA Connect, which is an on-demand service. It functions very similarly to Uber or Lyft. It is through our Ride MVTA app that you can book a trip. Based on your location, you can plan a trip up to 3 hours in advance, and it only costs $3, which is a lot less than you might be spending if you were using a different app. Just to put in a little plug for that as well. You can see the connect zone boundaries in the dotted line here. It does cover pretty much all of Burnsville. So hopefully that's a resource for folks trying to reach your location, if they don't have access to a car as well. Let's go to the next slide. In addition to all of that service that we run every day, we also do a lot of event service. You may have ridden the bus to the State Fair or the Renaissance Festival from Burnsville. We also provide daily service to the airport, as well as service to many different concerts and sporting events that we provide just kind of on an as-needed basis for those events. So for some folks, that's their introduction or maybe the only reason they use MVTA, but that is very important. We're keeping cars off the road, we're keeping people moving. So that's an important part of our service as well.
The MSP parking, just want to put a quick plug in that we do have free overnight parking at the Burnsville Transit Station for up to 14 days. So that is, something that we're trying to get more word out into the community. I see that Amy from Experience Burnsville is on this call too. So thank you, Amy, for, always pushing out that information for us and making sure that community members are aware. Perfect. And you can go to the next slide. Awesome. One thing that we also wanted to, bring up as businesses are looking at transit options that are going to be beneficial for them and their workforce and their visitors, is that being able to connect to the transit agencies to have a two-way dialogue about what service looks like, what's working well, and if there are adjustments that we need to, as an agency, be responsive to or about. That's something that we absolutely want to do a better job of communicating. So just this year, actually just last month, we began a South Metro Transit Coalition. And this is something that our board was very passionate about. And it's really focused on how can we more formalize the partnerships between MBTA and our employers in our region. So hopefully getting a better understanding of workforce mobility, where are people coming from, where are they going? And that will be able to allow you to have better access to workforce throughout the region. So we know that Burnsville doesn't have to have a passport, right? You have people that are coming in and out of the entire MSA. So we want to make sure that we're understanding and allowing you to have better access to workforce throughout the area. So this coalition is super easy to join. I did provide a QR code for you here that will take you to a very short form that will just ask for a little bit of information about your business, your number of employees, where they're coming from, and what you're kind of hoping to get out of it. The participation is, not anything that's overly rigorous. We are trying to make it very easy for folks to participate, not a huge time commitment, but our team will do the legwork on a lot of the projects that we'll do with you. So we do offer audits to understand where your employees are coming from, going to. We'll help create surveys for that. We'll analyze the data and be able to kind of put together some maps and information about commutes and what options currently exist and discuss options for the future if that's necessary. We also provide free trainings. So through this, you can communicate with our team about if you want us to come in and provide free trainings. So it's really just a nice way to engage in that dialogue with us and help us to provide better service to your community. So if anyone's interested in joining or has questions, we would absolutely love to have you as a part of the coalition. So please feel free to jump in there or email me, and I'm happy to talk through it with you more. You can go to the next slide, Jennifer. And we also just wanted to highlight that as a transit agency, our goal is, definitely mobility and connectivity throughout our communities and region. But we also feel like it's really important as a suburban transit agency that is focused on our communities that we're supporting them in a variety of ways. And so that, of course, means service on the road, but it also means support through, providing information and events. So this year we did work with the National League of Cities on putting together and planning an event that we held in Burnsville to bring together a lot of thought leaders to talk about mobility challenges and gaps that we're seeing so that, again, we can improve that transportation access, which will benefit our community in so many different capacities. We also provide services to events. Eric mentioned getting cars off the road. That is something that's important to us for a lot of different reasons and a lot of different types of events beyond like the state fairs and Renaissance festivals of the world. So the Burnsville Festival, we're seeing continued growth in ridership in that. So this year we had over 2,000 in total ridership, and we saw 7% increase on Saturday, which I think was great, given that there was, some weather challenges throughout that weekend. But we're seeing that there's a lot more interest in people taking the bus and being able to leverage those transportation options and hopefully mitigate some of the stress that comes with dealing with parking. And then we also do, things with our communities like parks tours. So being able to allow our commissioners to go and see these different parks, touch and feel like the investments that are being made in our community so they can have a better understanding of decisions that are being made too. You can go to the next slide, Jennifer. All right, Eric, I'll pass it back to you.
All right. Speaking of ridership, things are just looking up for us pretty much any way you look at it. There's a few things driving that. But September, we had the highest single month total in ridership since before the pandemic. Not at pre-pandemic levels, but this is the highest we've been since then. We're up 7% versus last year. And some of that is due to more folks going back to the office in places like downtown Minneapolis. But we are still seeing this like organic growth in different parts of our service area as well. Connect ridership is up 36% versus last year. That's a service that people are still discovering, taking advantage of. It is showing us that when you give people the opportunity to take alternative forms of transportation, many times they enthusiastically take it. State Fair and Renaissance Festival, we had record ridership this year. We carried almost 149,000 passengers for a State Fair and over 53,000 for Renaissance Fest. And that is a big increase from last year as well. Let's go to the next slide.
And Eric, sorry to jump in here, but I do
Yes.
just want to make sure to note that we got a message this morning from our planning team that the fixed routes are looking great. We actually had the single best month of ridership since COVID, and a Connect ridership record as well this month.
That's for October.
Yeah,
This presentation is for
but-
September, but we just got the email this morning
yes,
that
we just got
October
this
is
email today.
even more than September.
Yes.
So, you know, we're excited. That means that people are, you know, taking advantage of our service. Each of these numbers is a person that's able to make a trip that maybe they weren't be able to make before. So that's very exciting, very fulfilling, enormous job satisfaction right now at MBTA. Just a couple of things to highlight. Some of the work that we do as a planning team, we have different metrics that we look at. We have this transit propensity index. You don't have to say that 10 times fast, but it includes all of these factors here that are listed here: population, jobs, and then populations that will benefit the most from transit. That includes minority populations, low income, zero car households, and persons with disabilities. That's kind of our leading metric. And then, of course, we report ridership as well. When we look at it at the route level, we look at passengers per in-service hour, or PPISH for short. And this is just an example. You know, our busiest express routes are in the range from 15 to 25 PPISH. Local routes are not quite as busy because everybody doesn't get on at once. But, you know, these are some of the, when we look at that, when we look at how well a route's doing, this is a good way for us to compare both what it could do in terms of the transit propensity, as well as how it's doing right now in terms of the PPISH. Our Connect service has a PPISH of 3.1. So if a local route has a lower level of ridership than that, we might look at making some adjustments to it, or, you know, replacing it with some additional Connect service. Let's go to the next slide. I think this is my last slide. We do have a couple of exciting things coming soon. We did run service to Buck Hill last winter. And even though we didn't start it until January, we did get a lot of folks taking it, and got some really good feedback on that. We will be starting in early December this year, early next month, with service. It'll stop at the Burnsville Transit Station, Metro, Heart of the City Station, Burnsville Center, and Buck Hill. It'll run hourly on weekends. And there'll be potentially some additional event service on that as well. And then coming into spring, we have our seasonal for fun service that usually starts in about March. That will not be a seasonal service anymore. Starting next spring, it'll become a permanent service. And we'll have additional service to all of the destinations on that route, including the airport, Mystic Lake Casino, Burnsville Transit Station, Twin Cities Premium Outlets, several other employment destinations as well in Dakota County. It'll run 24/7, 365. It'll run from 4 a.m. to 1 a.m., 7 days a week, 365 days a year. I think that's everything from us.
All right.
Feel free to put any questions in the chat, or we can answer them at the end.
Yeah, thank you so much, Eric and Joya. Great updates. And now, sorry I teased this earlier, now we have Ryan from the Metropolitan Airports Commission. Ryan, do you want to take it away now?
Yes, happy to. Thank you very much, Jennifer. And thanks for having me this morning. Again, my name is Ryan Anderson. I'm the manager of the Community Relations Office for the Metropolitan Airports Commission. My office is the community connection point to the MAC. We recognizing the important role of our airport system and the important role that it plays in stimulating a broad and thriving and vibrant community. Our office offers a wide range of outreach activities to engage our stakeholders through airport advisory commissions, long-range planning efforts, airport events, and educational programs. First, I'd like to give a brief overview of our organization, so we can go to the next slide. Yep. So the Metropolitan Airports Commission or the MAC, is a public corporation that was established in 1943 by the state of Minnesota to operate an airport authority serving the greater Twin Cities area. It originally consisted of then Wold Chamberlain Field, which is now Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport, or MSP, on the west side of the metro area, and Holman Field on the east side, which is now St. Paul Downtown Airport. The MAC expanded into the broader metro region by adding 5 additional general aviation airports. And our legislative purpose is to promote efficient, safe, and economical air commerce, develop the full potential of the metropolitan area as an aviation center, and minimize the environmental impact from air transportation and the public's exposure to noise and safety hazards around the airports. Go to the next slide. We are governed by a 15-member policy board. The chair and 12 commissioners are appointed by the governor. 8 are selected from the Twin Cities metro area by set delineated districts, and 4 from the greater Minnesota region. And additionally, the mayors of Minneapolis and St. Paul also appoint 1 commissioner each. Next slide. Of course, the primary airport is Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport, MSP, which is the 17th busiest commercial airport in the U.S. based on passenger volume. There are 6 general aviation airports in our system as well. We refer to those as reliever airports because they relieve the congestion of the general aviation traffic that would normally impact MSP. MSP is Delta's 2nd largest hub by passengers and the home base for Sun Country Airlines. We draw passengers from across Minnesota as well as 4 other states with a catchment area that stretches from Wisconsin to the Dakotas and Iowa. We supported more than 714,000 operations across our 7 airport system last year. To give you an idea, I think Atlanta Hartsfield, which is the busiest airport in the world, had about 798,000 operations last year. So we have a busy airport system here in Minnesota. Next slide. We have about 800 employees in 2025, and we operate much like a city with police and fire departments, building inspection units, planning divisions, maintenance and operations, as well as our own finance division. Next slide. All right, now we'll look at MSP specifically. As of today, we are served by 15 airlines, led by Delta, of course. There's their 2nd largest hub. 9 of these airlines currently provide international service. Next slide. Total passengers in 2024 were around 37.2 million, which is a 7% increase over 2023. And we're at about 94% of where we were at our record-setting year in 2019 at 39.5 million passengers right before the COVID pandemic. So our passenger levels have recovered well since that significant impact in 2020. For 2025, our passenger levels are tracking about 22.5% below last year. There's a lot of variables playing into that, mostly the economic uncertainty and, of course, the government shutdown, which I'll touch on here in a little bit. For nonstop destinations in 2024, we saw a significant boost in new routes led by Sun Country. They expanded to 14 markets last year. This year, overall, again, we're at 132 nonstop destinations out of MSP. Delta has added nonstop service to Marquette, Michigan, Aberdeen, South Dakota, and White Plains, New York. Next slide. We also set a record for international passengers last year with more than 3.5 million, which was besting our previous record year set in 2019, right before the pandemic. New service this year to Rome and Copenhagen, brings our total nonstop international destinations to 35, which is also a new record for our airport. Total nonstop destinations, both domestic and international combined, peaks at 167, which is a great opportunity for both business and leisure travelers in the Minnesota region. Next slide. Again, we are Delta's second biggest hub, next to Atlanta. And Detroit is their third, and we'd like to keep them there. And we're just very happy with their third place finish. And we continue to show strong support with our Delta partners. Next slide. This chart shows annual operations. And when I say operations, that's both takeoffs and landings. And in 2020, you can see the significant impact of COVID on operations. And we continue to show recovery since then. Though, again, these are operations and not passenger levels. As I mentioned earlier, we're only about 6% below our passenger levels from our peak in 2019. And airlines have undergone a bit of a business model change over the last several years, where they are flying more people with less aircraft. Basically, what they've done is what we refer to as upgauging, where they have switched their fleet to more narrow-body aircraft versus smaller regional jets, and they're able to fly more people with less aircraft. Next slide. And as I mentioned, the government shutdown, that of course continues. I think we're at 38 days now. The longest government shutdowns that we've experienced. During the shutdown, our federal partners have worked to maintain passenger security and air traffic control at normal operation levels, and we are so incredibly grateful for their continuing support to work without pay and ensure that passengers are still able to go to their destinations. I can't imagine as a father with a family not having a paycheck for over 38 days, the stress of that, let alone not knowing when that paycheck may come, the uncertainty is just incredibly stressful. So we're very grateful for federal partners. We have actually set up a food center shelf to help ease the burden. The food shelf is open 24/7 for federal employees, and everyone's welcome to donate food to help support them during this challenging time. Those donation centers are at the departure level information booth at Terminal 1 or the Ground Transportation Center information booth at Terminal 2. And if you are traveling through our airport during this shutdown, I just ask you to express your gratitude to the TSA agents and federal employees for being there despite the current shutdown. All right, next slide. So now we're going to go into a bit of our capital improvements across MSP. First, on the next slide, we have built practically a new airport experience at Terminal 1 with investing over $600 million in complete redevelopment. The new experience rivals any U.S. airport terminal experience, and we've expanded across the entire front of the building to make room for larger security checkpoints. We have centralized escalators and elevators for easy flow of traffic through all levels, and a much brighter and lighter experience in the ticketing areas. Next slide. Our arrival experience has also been transformed too. We now have unstaffed exits 24/7 to the baggage claim area that has also been replaced with larger carousels to meet future demand. Next slide. On the other side of security, we've substantially completed a major interior renovation of Terminal 1 in partnership with Delta Airlines. This is the biggest renovation to Terminal 1 since the terminal opened in 1962. And it created a much more modern and unified design across the all 6 concourses and Delta's 75 gates at Terminal 1. Next slide. We are also focused right now on improving the experience at Terminal 2, which has repeatedly set monthly passenger records over the past year. Last summer, we launched the Terminal 2 North expansion project to help accommodate growth in airline and passenger activity, and that will add a couple of gates on the north end. Next slide. As I mentioned, that'll add a couple of gates, H15 and 16. We're installing cross-laminated timber roof in place there, and new concession spaces and restrooms are also part of the project, which is aimed to be completed next year. And this slide, what Jennifer's showing, is the next phase of the project for Terminal 2, where we're adding 10 additional gates after the north expansion is complete. So these 10 gates will be added to the south of Terminal 2. Next slide. We're also focused on positioning the MAC for changes in the aviation industry and elevating the travel experience through new technology and innovation. Our investment is going beyond physical infrastructure. We're also investing in digital enhancements that are crucial to providing a positive airport experience. Our customer relations management helps us to connect with our travelers and visitors and promote various airport amenities, such as MSP Reserve, that you can actually reserve a position at the security checkpoint. Something I think is most people don't realize that they can do. We also have pre-booked parking. If you decide not to take advantage of that free parking and bus service offered by the MVTA, you can reserve a spot in our parking garage and save over drive-up rates. And also we provide insider offers and discounts on the day of travel. So this is a foundation of a more modern and measurable digital engagement to understand who our customers are and how we can make their visit to our airport as enjoyable as possible. Next slide. We're also investing in IT infrastructure to help improve the experience by supporting our federal partners, both the TSA and Customs and Border Protection. They both aim to reduce wait times flying out of MSP, and for the TSA, that means credential authentication technology as well as biometrics. Biometrics are also helping Customs to ensure safe and secure movements of arriving international passengers through a simplified arrival, enhanced passenger processing flow. Earlier this summer, our airport became the 12th airport or port of entry to deploy enhanced screening that vets U.S. citizens quickly and reduces overall wait times. We're also piloting a program for international remote baggage screening, which enables passengers arriving to the U.S. From certain foreign airports with connecting flights to be exempt from having to be rescreened by TSA. Next slide. We also hold the highest industry accreditation for accessibility and have been at the forefront of creating an accessible passenger experience by investing in relationship technology, training, and infrastructure. For instance, this is an example of one of our investments in accessibility. We have a new talk-to-text platform to display live gate announcements for those passengers who are deaf or hard of hearing. You can see an example there on the screen. Next slide. And we're also very proud to have earned back-to-back wins as the #1 mega airport based on J.D. Power North American Passenger Satisfaction Survey. This was the 3rd time in 4 years to achieve this honor. And just to give you some context, the number one mega airport, that puts us in the category with all the major airports in the US. And to win this for 3 out of the last 4 years, is really, really proud that we continue to show the highest customer satisfaction ranking. It also acknowledges the work and focus of our employees and our partners who ensure our facilities and services and hospitality are maintained to the highest levels and exceed traveler expectations. And lastly, I just want to touch on another piece that our community relations office is involved with, and that's our Noise Oversight Committee. Next slide. Our Noise Oversight Committee, or NOC, was established in 2002. It is a 12-member board with 6 community representatives and 6 airline representatives. Provides a balanced forum for discussion on airport issues and noise concerns. The city of Burnsville participates and is part of the at-large membership, and the Burnsville Public Works Director, Mark Ray, serves as your at-large representative on the NOC. Next slide. And the mission of the NOC is to identify and study airport noise issues and look at solutions and provide policy recommendations or options to the MAC. Also monitor compliance with our established noise policy and ensure the collection of information is disseminated appropriately to the public. We meet about 6 times a year, and our next meeting is on November 19th here at the general offices of the MAC. And that completes my update. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Ryan, and thank you to everybody for this morning. That concludes our recorded portion of the program. Please make sure to log in to your member portal to get access to this recording and to all of the other monthly updates that we do every month.